I love women. Women are great. I love talking to women, just conversating with women. I'm very open. I love sharing. I have like a lot of feminine energy to me, but I'm also very masculine. It's just a nice thing. And I wasn't getting that, in my current relationship.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in Australia and the rest of the world.
Down under?
Where we'll pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And yes, that's Lily.
Is everybody shocked?
Yes, the shocking stories.
Lily's here.
Of
Lily in the
sugar
house.
Lily is looking fine AF. This is the first time I've seen you since the nip and tuck.
It's the first time most people have seen me, and I'm still very sore and swollen.
You're walking around a little gingerly, but,
Yes.
You're a little perked up top.
Yeah.
No bra required.
No bra required. That's the greatest freeing feeling.
Yeah.
I haven't felt this free in decades.
Now, you're 54, so, time had taken a little bit of a toll on the old implants. You got those replaced.
Gravity, wear and tear. I don't know.
And then you got a little bit of loose skin taken away, disappeared.
You have those babies, you gain that weight, you lose that weight, you gain that weight, lose that weight. Sometimes there's not much you can do except get a little nip tuck.
Now, what'd your sugar daddy trucker what'd your sugar daddy trucker think of this?
He was all for it. He's so supportive. He said, let's do it. You want to do it? Let's do it. I'll pay for it. I want you happy.
Yeah.
I want you confident.
And
I'm happy. And I'll get confident once I've really healed. There's still a lot of healing. My doctor says I got at least a couple months to go before I start feeling normal-ish.
Well, by the time this show comes out, the party will be over. Lily and I are, where it's about 2 weeks as we record this.
I'm losing my damn mind.
I'll tell you what.
Organizing this thing.
This thing's grown bigger than I ever imagined. I mean, pretty much if you're a Patreon member, we've tried to accept you. And so we've just had so many people apply. And if you didn't make it to this party, I sincerely apologize. Initially, I was going to invite 44. We're at 50 now, and I still have overflow. I just don't have room for any more.
Yeah, I'm working on housing. Yesterday, I'm like, boss, we need at least one more Airbnb.
Yeah, and I just picked up a 6-bedroom Airbnb in Scottsdale, which is really cool. It's got very good ratings. I'm excited about it. So everybody's going to be very comfortable. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have lots of sound bites and audio and stories from the party on our next few episodes. So stay tuned. And I'm telling you what, this Patreon just keep growing. We've got a guest today we're going to get to in a minute, and he became an ultimate VIP member of the show. So we really, really appreciate that, which includes unlimited coaching and unlimited profile reviews. And we had a great time talking yesterday, and I got to know him a little bit. He has my direct number, and that's what you get when you become an ultimate VIP.
And he's muy guapo.
Yeah, there you go. So we encourage you guys to go to our Patreon, join the family. We have a free option, and I do post free things. So if you just want to kind of look around, sign up as a free member, and then to support the show and open up everything that's available to the paid members, it only starts at $10 a month. You'll get to hear all the episodes, extra sugars before anybody else. You'll get to see exclusive behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and the group chat is unlike anything else. People are meeting each other in real life.
Yeah.
When you go on Seeking or some of these other sugar daddy sites, there's going to be scammers. These people on our website or on our Patreon, I mean, these are good people. They're paying money. They're vetted. These are not fake profiles. These are really good people, and you can chat with them. And I mean, if you make a connection, I mean, the guy we're interviewing with today, there's some people in his area, and they've already exchanged some information. So you just never know what's going to come of meeting another member in our Patreon group. And as it grows, the opportunities grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, without further ado, let's bring on our guest. This guy's unique. I haven't interviewed anybody this young in the lifestyle. So we're going to get a nice perspective from somebody that's below 30. He's found some success in his business. He's in a very unique industry, or a unique part of the industry, and it's bode well for him. He has some disposable income. He likes getting to the front of the line, and these other apps are just bullshit. So tell us all about it, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Good to be here. So I got out of a 4-year relationship not too long ago, a couple months ago, and hopped on, did my normal routine that I was doing prior to getting into that relationship. And how I met her, the Bumble, the Tinder, the Hinge, all these, monotonous sites. It's almost, I could describe it as, Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge is like Bidenomics, and SA is like, a Trump economy. It's just totally different. It's
That's
like,
an
it's like
interesting
free marketeer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like free market. You're connecting people who have like-minded things that are trying to connect with each other, whereas women with beauty is like a man with money. And when you're on the normal sites like Bumble, Tinder, and all this stuff as a man, it's really hard to weed through and find the people that you're looking for. And I don't have time to be going on dates and, this, that, and the other, and trying to meet people that might potentially work or whatever it might be. So this was a whole new arena for me that just blew my mind. And I'm 28, so I'm super young. I've been working since I was 12, basically, and I've accumulated a good amount of wealth. I'm not like a billionaire or anything, but I might be worth 10 or 15 million or something like that. And I do really well for myself. And I've always been a ladies' man. I love women. Love women. I love talking to them. I love being with them.
We have that in common.
And, after being in a 4-year relationship, being a little older and having, wealth and things like that, the amount of money that costs you and that kind of lifestyle, it's just wild, and anybody I'm ever going to be with, I'm going to take care of. Period, end of story. Because that's a man's job, is to protect and take care of a woman.
Very traditional role. Yeah. Very traditional.
Yeah, and that's how it's supposed to be. Men are supposed to be a gentleman. So I found this site, I'm like, where do you find this connection? Like, where do you find girls who are looking for guys like me? And the only thing I could really come up with was Seeking. So hopped on the site, was blown away, had a wonderful first date, met a beautiful girl. I'm actually going to see her right after this interview.
Now, how long ago did you jump on Seeking? How long has it been?
Probably 3 weeks.
Well, you're brand new.
Oh, I'm fresh. I'm fresh out the gate. And I've been on.
You're in for some.
I've been on probably. I'm in the sugar bowl for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's a little sticky.
Yes, it is.
I'm trying to dodge landmines. I don't mind losing a little money, you know what I mean, here and there, just trying to meet people and stuff like that. But it's wild out here. And, and I'm really looking for like the girlfriend experience, whereas, it's kind of hard to find really what I'm looking for, and you got to go on some dates. You got to spend some money. You got to, you got to weed through things. And it's just a process. But the quality of women on Seeking compared to Tinder or Bumble or whatever it is just incredible. And they're responsive and they want to get to know you. And I've been on 4 first dates in the last couple weeks or whatever. The first week I had 3 first dates, like back to back, like day after day. It's just exhausting. Got off the site, realized that one of my arrangements that I thought was maybe a good one, maybe wasn't. So I hopped back on the site. Then I was like exhausted. Now I'm in like purgatory where I'm halfway in, halfway out. It's just wild. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm really appreciative of you guys for, making this podcast so we can kind of educate ourselves to kind of weed through the nonsense. And it's nonsense on both ends. Nonsense on the, on the man's side, where dealing with these girls who are just looking for a quick thing or whatever it is. And then on the girl's side, got these like broke splendid daddies who have no business even being on the site. And really what resonated for me the most with all of this was episode 7 with Jerry Biggs, who wrote that book, which I did buy, but I haven't read yet. That episode I probably listened to 5 times, and I
Really?
was like, yeah, it's just the dude was younger. He made a lot of money. He was like not putting up with the bullshit. And he just wanted to meet beautiful women, kind of vet them from there. Because really, at the end of the day, you're going to be taking care of a woman, period, end of story. If you're a man of means, I mean, that's your responsibility. So it's like, why not just start from first principles at the place you're going to end up anyways, and start it from there and go from there,
I
you know?
am so
Um,
happy to hear someone in their 20s with that mentality, because it seems like a lot of the younger generation do not have that kind of caretaker mentality. Are you in a metropolitan area? Are there plenty of beautiful women on Seeking?
there's definitely I'm in the Tampa Bay area, and there's definitely plenty of people to meet. Like in anything, you got to weed it out. You got to kiss a couple frogs. You got to
Yeah.
He's
you
been
got to
listening.
slay a couple dragons before you meet the princess. But that's really what I'm interested in is actually dating and having a relationship and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm interested in, and just something that's a little less, a lot less baggage and things like that, starting from first principles on a good, level-headed relationship type deal, because I don't have time. Yeah, I'm busy, all sorts of things that I got to handle being an entrepreneur and doing what I do, but I still want to have that fun and that, meeting people and going out and going on dates. So this was just mind-blowing to me, and I'm just really thankful that this is even a thing.
I have some questions for you.
Yeah.
First of all, how did you find our podcast?
I think Googling. I was Googling how to, kind of navigate the website and everything like that, just seeing if I could find like YouTube videos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot where I actually stumbled upon it, but I think I saw it on Google somewhere, or maybe on Reddit. I'm always on Reddit. Seeking and Reddit both remind me of old internet, like
Yes.
Windows 2000, like before everything got kind of shut down. I just loved being on the computer when I was a young kid, like a little nerd playing World of Warcraft, buying and selling things from China and putting them on eBay, making money when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old, selling like fake purses on eBay. It's like doing crazy stuff.
Oh
But
my God.
so I've always been on the internet, and this totally reminds me of like a bygone era that's there's still like a little heartbeat somewhere of like, almost very like libertarian. Love that.
Okay.
So
Now, we've interviewed tons of people, and they tell us all the reasons why they're on Seeking and the reasons why they're doing this, and you're basically figuring that out exactly the same reason why. So many of our listeners want to know, how do you make money like you do at 28 years old? What is the secret to success? Because we don't cover that enough. I mean, how do you become a man of means? And you seem to you're obviously on the right track. So give us some nuggets of information on how these men can get into a position like you're in.
It's hard. I will say I do e-commerce, but I also do other things like in the world of atoms where we actually fix things and rebuild things. And what I do is I find, okay, there's a book. It's my favorite book of all time. It's called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. And the whole premise of the book, there's so much good information in there. I've probably read that book 20 times. I mean, it's just my favorite book of all time. But you want to bring value to people. If you bring value to people and you do things that nobody else is doing, you will find success. What that success looks like is going to vary, right? But doing things for the right reason is, I think, one of the most important things. And the success will come later. But you want to go into something, if you really want to make a lot of money, you want to go into something that is not a commodity. You want to find a monopoly. You want to find something where there's profit. If you want to go broke, open up a restaurant, have the family working there because that's all you'll be able to afford.
Amen.
Some restaurants are definitely profitable and things like that. Don't get me wrong, but there's a reason why you go into the Vietnamese restaurant and grandma is in the back washing dishes or whatever, is because that's the profit. So you want to do something that nobody else is doing, be original, and be able to take risk. and work really hard. I mean, you're not going to get, especially in today's world with these giant monopolies hogging up all the space, Chinese coming after you on the e-commerce side and everything. It's a whole different world. It's very competitive in the global economy now. But you got to be willing to put in 14, 15, 16 hours a day. And it's really hard to do that when you got kids and you got extracurricular things that you want, really buckle down to really get to where you want to go. And like for me, I lived in my warehouse for 10 years almost. I mean, I just bought a house 2 years ago. The only reason why I bought a house because I had a lady in my life who I had to take care of because that's my job as a man. I lived in my warehouse. I bought 4 commercial properties cash before I even bought a house. And I did that because I knew they were good investments, that I would, be able to rent them or use them or they would appreciate. And boy, was that a good idea because they've all doubled in price already. It's being focused. It's doing the right thing. It's bringing value. It's not ripping people off and just working really hard. And again, providing value to the marketplace. And that's why these girls are having such a hard time too, is because these splendid daddies are everywhere and they're ruining everything. They have such a bad taste because of these guys that are not really proper sugar daddies.
Okay,
they're splendid daddies.
You keep referencing this woman that you dated for 4 years. So I'm curious, how did you meet? And ultimately, why did the relationship deteriorate?
I don't want to get into too many details of that because it's, that's a personal matter. I like sharing. I can share everything, but she's a very private person. There's a difference there. Everybody has different love languages. Everybody comes from different walks of life and things like that. She's a very unique person. She's a wonderful person. We live together, child together, but there's a lot of differences that, between us that, we're working through and things like that. This whole thing is kind of helping get us through to the other side where we can maybe have a relationship and we'll still be able to do our thing and I'll be able to still have fun and enjoy myself and go on dates and do this and do that. But we have a great relationship. It's just, sometimes there's an emotional element that's lacking because people have different attachment styles and they come from different walks of life with different upbringings with parents and things like that. Parents don't always know how to give the emotional maturity, pass that on to their kids. There's a book called, I think it's Emotionally Immature Parents. It's basically emotionally immature parents who create kids who can't handle their emotions. And it makes it very difficult to be in relationships with people where whether you're anxious avoidant or fearful avoidant or disorganized attachment style, whatever it might be, those are little nuggets as to what kind of is going on there if you really wanted to know. And it's really difficult to be in relationships with people like that. And everybody's got their thing. And the problem is you don't realize it because you come into a relationship with googly eyes and a lot of feelings and sex is good and everything's happy. But over time, when you run into the road bumps, when people, when you have deaths in the family, when you're dealing with newborn babies and postpartum and things like that, there's a lot of things that can come out in a relationship that can really create turmoil, where you really start to kind of feel each other out and see where each other, is in the relationship and mentally. And I just had a realization where I was just like, whoa, this person doesn't realize where I am and how I feel. I think we need to take a step back. That was probably 3-4 months ago. And here I am kind of doing my thing on Seeking and just trying to find a better life for myself where I can be a father, but also have fun and go out and do things like that, where it's like kind of compartmentalized, if you will.
All right. Well, coming from a guy in his 50s, I'm not even the same person I was in my 20s. I had relationships similar, and it's unbelievable. Right, Lily? Do you feel like you're even the same person?
Oh, Trucker and I have this discussion regularly about how perfect timing contributes to a perfect relationship. Because if I had met him when he was a young buck, I don't think he would have been for me. But now he's so mature and he really doesn't have a lot of struggles. And so the things that we go through together, we can focus on each other. There's not a lot of diversion.
Right.
And yeah, so timing is everything. And had I not gone through 3 previous marriages that went sour and done a lot of reflection on, okay, what was I doing wrong in that relationship? What did I settle for that I shouldn't have? And realized, okay, well, here's some check boxes. And I just told him the other day, I said, I had all these check boxes and I didn't think there was a man on earth who could check them all. I go, but you have checked them all and then added some more that I didn't even realize I needed. So yeah.
Yeah, Trucker's a great guy, great find, but yeah, I could see
beautiful.
him 20 years ago. They definitely wouldn't be the guy that you would want.
I don't think so. He's gone through a lot in his life, but he's learned from it, and that's beautiful.
Right.
So beautiful.
All right, so let me ask you this. You're very fresh on Seeking. You're very fresh into this lifestyle. I know that a lot of girls on there will specify nobody under 35, nobody under 40, but you don't seem to be having an issue with that.
It's funny, when I was a younger man and I was still like living with my parents and things, like I was maybe like 18 or whatever, I just fell into a couple relationships with older women. And I was blown away, because going from dating, younger girls to mature women who have, they're done with the bullshit. They tell you what they want. They tell you what they think. I love that. Dating younger women is very difficult because they haven't figured it out yet. Last night, I went on a date with a girl and she was older than me, just by a couple years. But, it's always fun to kind of tease them a little bit about it. It's all in good humor. But there's something to be said about older women and how great they are, because they're mature. They know what they want. They can communicate better, and they're not afraid to ask and tell you what they want. And that's such a wonderful thing. I have had a lot of girls tell me, you're too young, blah, blah, blah. I can appreciate that. I'm not offended or anything. I'm just like, all right, on to the next one. It's like, that's what's kind of cool about site, is there's a plethora of beautiful women on there. And, you're not after 1,000 of them. You're just after maybe 1 or 2. At least I am. But it's a great place to meet the right person. But that's a lot of fun, though, is talking to older women and they're like questioning you and your motives and everything. And like, does this guy even have money, and decent looking? He's young. Like, why the hell is he on the site?
You would think that you would have no problem on the other side. Here you are, young, successful, still have your hair. I mean,
he's being modest. Yeah. He's very handsome, full head of hair, great physique. The girls at the party are going to go wild when they see you.
I may have to forbid him to come because he might get too much attention.
He'll be the life of the party.
Careful.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so what are your expectations going forward? You've had some interesting experiences already, as we discussed yesterday.
Definitely.
You've had some eye-opening encounters. Yeah. So tell us about what you've discovered in 3 weeks.
There's a lot of girls out there looking for money, and that's fine and dandy, but they're not really the kind of girls that I'm really looking for. I'm looking for somebody who's, like, it's funny, like the first date I went on, this girl, we never spoke about money one time, ever. And I've been very kind to her, to say the least. Mm-hmm. And like the girl last night that I was seeing or whatever, she was all about her money. And it's just a turnoff. It's just like, and I get it. It's because of the Splendid Daddies are everywhere. But I've had some really nice dates. One girl I actually knew from when I was in high school or something. I was trying to like get with her or something. I was like texting her, like messaging her on Facebook. And we like started talking on Seeking. And we went out for a date. But after, speaking to her and tell that she's, kind of been in this game for a long time and she hasn't really found what she's looking for. And probably one of the biggest red flags that I could ever see with somebody is how they speak about the person that they had children with. Mm-hmm. If you can't say anything nice about that person, and I understand people go through a lot with people and people are abusive and everything in between, but speak nicely about people in your life to people you are just meeting, because it really matters. And it's really a reflection upon yourself and what you have going on internally. I haven't really had too much crazy stuff. I haven't been ghosted yet or anything like that.
Just wait.
But it's,
Yeah.
I think there's one that's starting to do that a little bit, but it's like, I don't know. And it's fine because it's just like, whatever, on to the next one. No, it's a lot of fun going on dates and, going on all these different restaurants. There's tons of really cool restaurants in my area. Never really been before, realistically. And it's just fun. I'm just having a freaking blast. I'm learning really what's out there. And this podcast is really helping me too, because it's allowing me to, it's like seeking is a cheat code. Well, having information like this is also a cheat code. That's why I'm just so happy that you guys are out here doing this and making this podcast so people can kind of learn. And what a savings, by the way. Think about how much money you're saving me by this podcast. I mean, it's just like amazing, like how many bad dates and things like that I'm not going to go on because of the information I've gotten from this pod.
Oh, you'll still go on some bad dates, but you'll still encounter some just what the fuck moments, but you're going to laugh at them and you're like, okay, I know that this is part of the process and maybe I could vet these people a little better. And I remember them talking about something on the podcast.
Okay, Michael, you said you have a child. Do you want more children? I don't know how old or if it's a boy or a girl, but do you want more children? You seem like eventually you want to be quite the family man.
Oh, absolutely. So that's kind of the plan, is to compartmentalize this life into a box and enjoy it. But right now I'm kind of like a little wild with it, because I'm brand new. So I'm like, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm just touching everything. I'm like, oh, this is great.
You're
I'm
sowing your wild oats.
Yeah, it's, and I've already done that my whole life. So it's like, but this is like a lot of fun because it's quick. You just go on dates with people. It's just so fun. But really what I want to do is, if everything goes to plan, I'd really like to have more children with my partner, who I have a child with now. And hopefully we can work through stuff, but she's got a lot to work through, therapy and things like that. It's just funny because, like a frog in boiling water, when I met her, I kind of told her that I'm a little bit of a wild man and I love the ladies and everything like that. But over time, she said, oh, I don't care. It's not a big deal. But over time, I think she actually started to love me and no, it wasn't okay, and changed her tune with it. And now we're in a place where she doesn't want me going out, or she doesn't want me doing this or whatever, where I'm very constricted, and I need that energy. And that, I love women. Women are great. I love talking to women, just conversating with women. I'm very open. I love sharing. I have like a lot of feminine energy to me, but I'm also very masculine. It's just a nice thing. And I wasn't getting that, in my current relationship. So I think ideally do like an open relationship, on both sides, obviously, and have more children, because I just don't want to be the guy with 5 baby mamas. I never wanted to be that. I'm not going to be that. And that's that.
Is she open at all to an open relationship, ethically non-monogamous type situation?
We've definitely talked about it, and she's learning. I'll just say that. So being kind of restricted past 4 years, I did some things that I maybe shouldn't have. People that I knew locally in the area and whatever, and that kind of surfaced. So that being said, I kind of opened up to her and told her things that I didn't necessarily tell her in the beginning, like whether it's a hot wife thing or whatever. So we've played with and done different things that are really fun. But because of the emotional element of all that, it really showed the cracks in our relationship and kind of pushed us apart. And now we're kind of figuring ourselves out internally, and then hopefully we can kind of come together, at a later date and really figure out a real relationship that works again. But I'm definitely not willing to be monogamous for the rest of my life. I just can't do that as a person. It's just not in me.
What about her? Is she purely focused for herself on monogamy? Or if you were non-monogamous, would she be willing to do the same thing? to kind of spice up the relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've done, certain things and played around and stuff and brought people in and whatever, and that's been like a lot of fun. But again, if you're not on good footing with your partner and you start bringing people in and doing certain things, you definitely can kind of blow up your relationship. And that's kind of what happened to us. And now we're in the process of, okay, we need to work on ourselves. We need to find ourselves again. Like I'm like a whole new person again. I like feel alive. I'm working out again. I'm like, I haven't really grown my business that much in the past 2, 3, 4 years. I want to make 10 million a year. I'm done with this bullshit. I have goals now. Man, I want to be like a super sugar daddy over here. I have life in me again because I'm not constrained. And, I want to be an open person. I want to be honest. And I wasn't living my life like that in my authentic self. And I'm getting back to that point and we're working through it. And it's funny because she's probably more attracted to me now than ever. And we're working through that. But we spend still time together and everything. And we talk. Last night we were smoking a joint together, just talking, but we're like kind of taking a break, but we're very cordial to each other. And I think that's really what it's all about. And we'll eventually get to a place where we can come back together and do this all over again, but under different rules and things like that that work for both of us.
Now, are you her sole means of support currently, financially?
Yes.
And has it always been that way?
In the beginning, we had she had her own business, but basically I was like, hey, if we're going to do this, I need like a wife and a partner, not an entrepreneur. Like I'm already an entrepreneur. I can do that for the both of us. And I still take care of her and I'll take care of her till the day I'm dead because we created life together. And that's just the way that works, at least in my mind, and that's why I work so hard is so I can provide, whatever she wants to do. I support her and really our next step before we can enter a relationship again is I'm going to help her build a business because I don't want her to be reliant on me at all. I want her to be completely self-sufficient. So if she wants to be with me, she can be with me. But if she doesn't want to be with me, she doesn't have to be with me. And I think that's the best kind of relationship.
Yeah, you clearly do care about her and her future and, well, really the strength of your family unit because you'll always be a family. Whether you two are together romantically or not, you're still going to be family because you got a child.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's everything. I mean, kids are the most beautiful thing in this world. You can have your fun here and there and do this and do that. But really at the end of the day, when you have, a little baby looking up at you smiling and saying, Dada, it's like the most beautiful gift in the world. Something some men skip out on. I think the most fulfilling things in life are the hard things and the responsibilities. And I think that those are the most fulfilling things in life that really make you die a happy, fulfilled person. My dad had me when he was 50. And what's really nice about having an older father is they definitely lose their testosterone and things like that as they get older. So the boys can be a little bit rough. I mean, I'm the youngest of 3 boys, but my dad had wisdom to him that a younger guy doesn't have. He was able to spend time with us because he ran a small business and was able to, listen to him talking on the phone. So all these things kind of made me who I was having an older father. So it's never too late to start a family, but the footing, the foundation has to be solid and the values have to be aligned.
You hear that, Marcus?
As much as possibly can,
Alejandra is listening and she's got baby fever, Marcus.
Matter of fact, she even said it last night. She's like, I want a baby so bad. And I'm like, I'm pulling out.
How long have you guys been together?
2 years. Yeah. So,
okay.
We've hung out with a couple that I met her. We never had an arrangement or anything, but she's became a good friend of mine. And she ended up marrying her sugar daddy, and he's 63, and they have 2 kids, I think.
Beautiful children.
Yeah, 2 small children. Yeah. Anyway.
Absolutely. I recommend, after dealing with what I kind of went through, and we're dealing with it so well together, it's ridiculous. I mean, we're like so cordial and kind to each other and just really, and it just shows picking the right person with the right values that align with you are so important, because that's what gets you through to the other side when times get difficult.
I
But
100% echo what you're saying about being with the right person,
yeah,
because things do come up, hardships do come up, conflicts
yeah,
comes up, emergencies come up. I don't think anybody realizes this unless maybe Marcus mentioned it on one of the last several episodes, but Trekker just had a very small stroke a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we just talked about that
And
with Kevin and Vivian.
it was terrifying. And it was nothing compared to what
wow,
Kevin went through. But I'm telling you, he fell. I called 911. Luckily, it was very small. But he told me last night, he's like, I would understand if you want to pull out and you don't want to be with someone and you don't want to invest in a relationship where you might lose the person. I was like, why would I do that? You're my person. Good, bad, ugly, crippled, deformed. You're still my person.
that's beautiful. That's wonderful. I love that. I remember what I was going to say was, I highly recommend for anybody getting into, a serious relationship where you're bringing life into this world and things like that, is go to counseling prior to making these decisions, because you have a disconnect between your brain and logic and your feelings. And to be able to understand deep-seated things about your partner and kind of work through that before it rears its ugly head. It never rears its ugly head when times are good, when you have googly eyes, when you're in love. It only happens when times get tough and there's death or sickness and things like that. So I really encourage anybody who's serious about getting into a relationship, really takes the time, number one, and also understands their upbringing, and did they have a good relationship with their father or their mother, what that relationship's like. These are super important things. Try to do every situation with empathy, and understanding of, your partner. I think that's really the main objective to being in a successful relationship with each other, empathizing with your partner.
Agreed. Yeah. That's why we really, really advocate not rushing into relationships, really taking things slow, really getting to know each other gradually, and spending more and more time together, traveling together before you try to hop into putting a ring on it.
Yeah, now Michael and I talked for quite a bit yesterday, and I told him about the book 3% Man by Corey Wayne that I've been reading, and that's exactly what he advocates. You can't get to know anybody that quickly. Let it happen organically, enjoy each other, and then when you guys do become closer and closer, then you can move forward with a relationship. But the problem is many men, or women, they try to rush into these things, and
right.
And then all of a sudden, you got pressures of a relationship. Like I remember my original host, Amy, and since you've been listening to some of the earlier episodes, we may have talked about that. She had a gentleman who owned a very popular and still popular restaurant to this day, one of the top in town. I had a girlfriend who was pregnant. He met Amy, and within 2 days, he's professing his love for her. And I'm like, wait a minute. You don't know the Amy that I know. And she's like, this guy doesn't even know me. Like, I know. He has no idea about your other side.
She
and
has
all this.
so many layers to her.
Lover boy fever.
Yeah, and I'm just that's just such a big red flag that somebody's going to be falling that quickly and professing his love for somebody after 2 or 3 dates. I mean,
That's what
ridiculous.
I went through with Scorpio. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I even asked him why at 70 he was pushing it. He goes, look, I don't have much more time.
Scorpio.
So I understand Scorpio's rush on that.
Yeah, he's like, I got to get me a good girl and I got to get her now.
I got to move quickly on this one.
Oh, gosh.
And that same energy is kind of the problem and why people sort of fall in love for the wrong reasons. But from what I understand, Amy's quite a catch.
Yeah, hopefully she's committed to coming to the party and hanging out. She doesn't like concerts. It's
Sure.
As she tells me, they're like, there's too many people. She's a little bit
introverted.
The parties
That's cool
are
too,
small.
though. Yeah,
the parties are small enough where she can feel somewhat comfortable. So we're hoping for another. She had a great appearance last year.
Yeah. I really hope she comes, and I'm dying for her to bring her fiance.
Yeah.
I have not laid eyes on this man.
Yeah.
But I would love to see their dynamic.
Yeah. He's very easygoing, very acceptance. He used to be a sugar baby. for
See,
women.
Can we get him on the show?
I know, right?
Oh yeah.
Now
That's what I'm trying to be when I grow up.
Yeah, they didn't meet on Seeking. They met in the wild. Actually, they met at work. But once they found out each other's past, they just meshed and like, oh, great. You understand me. I understand you. So it worked.
I'm so happy for her.
I am too. I never thought this would come. Because she's an interesting personality. Like, we dated for a year and a half, and
She's younger though too.
I love her to death, but
Right?
there was no way I was
How old is
ever. She's like in her mid-30s now. Yeah. But and
Mm-hmm.
I told her, I said, you know what? There's times I just want to wring your neck, but we're not really, we're not at a point where we're in a relationship, so I can deal with some of your your unique quirkiness. Yeah. Like the four food items she will only eat.
One of which is Reese's peanut butter cups.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very, very picky when it comes to food. So
That's another thing about the regular sites too, is there's so many girls with the politics are crazy in modern society. The food, everybody's like a vegan. Like I'm a meat eater. I eat steak.
oh,
And I go on these dates, girls just look at me like I'm just a savage because I'm like eating a giant porterhouse steak or like a T-bone steak. That's what I eat every single day and night. What I eat.
yeah.
And the political thing and everything like that is just so, and the Instagram and all these social media apps has really diluted the younger generation and just made it so hard to sit down and communicate, because all these girls kind of, they have this like pillow princess snotty snooty little attitude. They're too good for you or something, and it's like we're all, it's like death and taxes. We're all in this together the same way. It's like there's no reason to be like
Well,
that. Just be nice.
With some filters, they have unlimited attention on social media. And so they get
Crazy.
all of this attention, and they start thinking that they're superstar because all these guys are DM. How do you say
DMing?
that? Yeah.
Private
DMing?
messaging?
Right.
I don't know.
PMing.
Sliding in the DMs.
Yeah.
There you go.
And so they're just getting all this attention. And like we've said, an average looking girl has the sexual pull of a celebrity or a rock star. So especially with social media, they could snap their fingers and any number of thirsty dogs would come over that night. So yeah, it's just a different world.
It's terrible too, because there's so many nice guys out there that, would make good partners and stuff like that. But because there's such a delusion in the atmosphere here with the social media and everything, and everybody's just trying to be a social media influencer and that's their ticket out. It's just a crazy world, and this is all so brand new, and we really don't know the social ramifications of these things in 10 or 20 years. I mean, people aren't having kids, and if they are, they're having one or two at most, whereas I want 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard some statistics that the birth rate is actually going down, and the number of people single at a certain age is increasing. So there's a trend, definitely. I just saw it in the news the other day.
Abortion rates were really skyrocketing. I don't know what's going on with the new laws regarding that, but these girls would just be aborting left and right because they didn't want to ruin their figure, because they needed to maintain it for their persona.
Right. Well,
wild.
Michael, we really, really appreciate you taking some time to come on and give a perspective from somebody under 30. He's probably the first one, isn't he?
You know what? It's hard for me to feel like he's under 30 because his worldview is so mature.
Yeah, it's very in line with the people that we hang out with, the guys in their 40s and 50s who've seen a thing or few. We kind of have this political view, this societal view, this traditional view that we're embracing that's being eroded. So yeah, it's very refreshing to see that there are some people still coming up through the system that are not being corrupted by this new line of thinking. Yeah.
The last of the Mohicans. The only reason why I'm really like this is because, my dad is 77, going to be 78 this year, and I just had a whole different perspective than my peers.
Yeah.
So,
well,
very cool.
As the pendulum swings, I think hopefully it's swung one way and it's starting to come back to the middle. You know, all we can do is hold our ground and speak what we believe. And if you want to join us, great. If you don't want to join us, shut the hell up. Don't get in my business, right? I see these YouTube comments and they're like, I can't believe you guys talk about this. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're from the accepting society, aren't you? So why are you blasting me because I have a different point of view? But anyway, Michael, we really, really appreciate that. You took some time out of your day. And Lily, you are looking fabulous. I cannot wait to see you dolled
Lily.
up.
I'm feeling so much better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You haven't seen
I don't
the
know
before
if you're
picture, but
the age you are, actually.
she gets that a lot.
I truly am, but I have a young spirit.
You know, she tries. She works at it and she tries to maintain her beauty. And we really appreciate that because so many people, they just say, fuck it. They let themselves go. And then they wonder why nobody's attracted to them physically. Yep. And they could find so much love and so much acceptance if they would just put in a little bit of effort. I see beauty in everyone. Even I go to the gym every morning and I do this group workout at 45. And for 45 minutes, we work out. And we get people that come in there that are severely overweight. But I can see beauty in them. And like they're in this gym. They're working out. All they got to do is be consistent. Because Lynn, who's coming to the party, I saw her pictures. She lost 125 pounds, severely overweight. She was in over 200 and something. And then she ended up being a fitness model in competition. So
incredible.
There's definitely things you can do about your situation. You don't need to give up. There is beauty in everyone. So we encourage you. Do what you can, and you will find that good things will start happening to you. Right, Michael?
Absolutely.
100%.
Keep rolling and keep being true to yourself. And I think more than anything, bring value.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
But I know it's a struggle because I'm still trying to lose this final 10 pounds, and it's tough. It is tough. I get it.
Stop eating carbs.
Well, I love meat, and that's the beautiful thing. You said, you know, I've gone out with these girls who are very, very picky and will only do vegan things, and that's fine. You do you, boo boo. But I'm going to eat some.
No,
meat.
it's terrible. It's terrible because they judge you. They stare at you.
Yeah.
Alejandra and I are the biggest carnivores you could ever meet.
So Alejandra tells me from the very beginning, what do you want to eat? She goes like, bourbon and bones. We're going to have an 18-ounce bone-in ribeye. And I'm like, you're my kind of girl right there. Yeah. So, and that's what she loves. As a matter of fact, when I first met her, she was telling me all the benefits of a carnivore diet. And then when I did the 75 hard program, then I did the carnivore diet and ended up losing like 26 pounds. So there is something to that. I cut out a lot of carbs.
Great.
Oh, I felt fantastic. Yeah.
No carbs and no sugar and just things that are not processed. I mean, that's really what it's all about.
Yep. Well, good. We got some nice nuggets of information in at the end.
Yes.
All right.
It was lovely meeting you.
Yeah. Lily will be in touch with you.
You're coming to the party, so I need some details and information.
Okay.
Got to make you a name tag.
That's right.
Well, if you guys want to get in touch with me and share your crazy sugar dating stories like Michael did, go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. You can contact us there. Actually, the even better way is through Patreon. We're on that every day. Yeah. And so you can contact us there or Instagram. I get a lot of direct messages through Instagram. I respond to all those. I appreciate you guys following us there. So lots of good ways to get a hold of us, but we would love to have you as a member of our Patreon. It feels like family, right, Michael? The Patreon
It does. It's really cool what you guys have going on out there. And I always see everybody posting. And there's actually a girl in Tampa on the site. And I want to go meet up with her. She's on vacation or something right now.
She's coming to the party.
She's hot. Yeah. So so I was like, hey, let's go get drinks or something. Like, let's go, do something, hang out.
She definitely got a wild side to her. So we're going to meet her at the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Lily.
Fun.
All right. We got to run. Thanks for coming in. Nice to have Lily back in the house.
Glad to be back.
All right, Michael, we'll see you soon.
Good hanging out. See you.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.